the Marais.
It's special, isn't it?
This is a special episode. It's very dear to my heart.
And many people's hearts,
I think a lot of people have. We're almost nervous to talk about an almost sacred place.
I know. I feel like it's a Grand Dame.
The Grande Dame of Paris.
Grand Dame.
Today we're going to take everyone through the 4th arrondissement of Paris as part of our Paris countdown season. My name's Oliver G.
I'm Lena G.
And
Norden G. Forgot my maiden name there for a second.
We're going to walk you through what is a very special arrondissement, steeped in history, but also thriving in the modern scene. Just drop-dead gorgeous through most of it.
Oh, it's so good.
A tourist haven in some parts, but quite easy to avoid the tourists. And a place that's personally special to both of us, I think.
Yeah.
Especially me. I don't know. Like I feel like a big part of my Paris story takes place in the 4th arrondissement. So buckle in, everybody. You're listening to the Eiffel Tower podcast, and we're about to take you through the 4th arrondissement of Paris. Hit the music. That?
Yeah, I sure do. Speaking of a Grand Dame.
Yes, that is Press Maxon, the Grand Dame of Paris. He actually emailed me and signed it off with the matryoshka of music.
No way.
After you said it in the other email.
Really? Yeah, and now he's a Grand Dame of music.
The song that everyone's just heard, I'll read from his email. For something as grand as the Notre Dame, you need a grand artist, an all-timer. So this week's song choice seemed obvious. Notre Dame de Paris by Edith Piaf. And for the eagle-eared, you'll hear a nod to recent earful sighting Vanessa Paradis' song, La Seine.
Oh, this is so good.
I love the jokes, the stories.
Yeah.
If you're new to this podcast on this episode, not going to explain it. So that's Press Maxon, done the music for the season. Great choice, and Notre Dame is a large part of this district.
Well, unfortunately these days, very inaccessible.
Although we'll talk about Notre Dame properly later, but they're working to get it ready, especially in time for the Olympics, I think.
So that's the deadline.
It doesn't look like it when you look at it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think what we're going to do is we're going to spell out quickly the Marais, this lower Marais, the 4th arrondissement. Yeah, so everyone can understand what we're talking about in case you don't know it. And then we're going to talk about what we did, which includes a visit to what might just be a James Bond themed restaurant. Don't get too excited, Bond fans.
I mean, you can still... whatever. We get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the vibe. It's a very small district, just north of the river, and encompasses the majestic Ile Saint-Louis. Probably the best stroll you can do in Paris.
It's such a favorite. It's so good. Yeah.
Remember we lived there?
For a glorious month.
Oh, what a month.
So good.
I would say I often get emails from people, where should I stay in Paris? And I don't know, you can't answer that question. That's like saying, what should I have for dinner tonight?
Yeah,
it really is.
It all depends.
You could stay, you might hate the whole city, I don't know. But I would always recommend, if you can manage it, spend a night or two on the island, the Ile Saint-Louis.
It's special.
It's magical.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of the 4th arrondissement. Half of Ile de la Cité, the other island.
With Notre Dame.
That part, administratively, is in the 4th. And then everything beyond is just north of the river.
Yeah.
The beautiful, ancient, we're talking... Some buildings there are 500 years old. Some parts of some beautiful walls are 800 years old. And it all dates...
I saw your eyes lit up.
The whole thing, 2,000 years ago, the Romans went north into, you know what the Marais, what the word means?
The swamp. Swampland.
Or marshland or something. So it used to be all...
gross, basically.
Yeah, it used to be all gross. Yeah. And it couldn't be more different from the truth
It's far from gross.
And if you're sitting there turning to your spouse saying, well, we don't care about... old walls and old buildings. Got good news for you. There's plenty of modern stuff too. There's a modern art museum.
Yeah, a lot of galleries, a lot of little boutiques, like independent boutiques, but also like chains.
Do you think it's
a good mix.
expensive? Do you think? I mean, we'll get to this later. but-
It's such a mix. I think you can really, live the high life if you want, but
Yeah.
also get away with a cheap day. Because
true.
I mean, there are so many like thrift stores as well, a lot of secondhand shopping, a lot of that sort of thing.
And then you got like free museums, the Victor Hugo Museum, we'll talk about in a sec, across from, on the the glorious Place de Vosges. If you don't want to talk about, look it up, Place de Vosges, across from probably the most expensive Coca-Cola I've ever bought in my life.
Yeah, so
In the same square.
highs and lows for sure.
The people that are hanging around, you got a big mix. I mean, like Lena said, it's probably wealthier people that live there, but you also got during the days, you've got the Jewish quarter, you got the gay quarter, so there's a lively mix of different people hanging around. I wouldn't say it's like full of younger or older people. I feel like it's hard to determine that. I think it's a bit of a mix.
Yeah, definitely.
But you will see tourists, but you can avoid
in
them.
herds, definitely
In
parts.
hordes.
In hordes.
Yeah.
In parts.
Yeah.
But yeah, very avoidable if you wish.
And then the other thing to mention, which is important, I think, is it's got the Seine. You've got the Seine, so there's always nice walking options in this central Paris district. Let's, I think, get onto what we did and whether we recommend it or not. Hit the music. Looking forward to that YouTube video. Just visually, this is a good.
It's a stunner.
This is a stunner.
Definitely.
Okay, here's what we did. Here's how we can recommend you stay a day here. It's a busy day. There's a lot going on here.
A lot to do.
And a long night. And in full disclosure as well, we did the night on the second day due to the Paris babysitting shortage. Which is a real thing.
It's a tough scene.
So I don't know if it's even possible to do all this in one day, but we would have tried.
A day in the fourth. What did we do?
Very much.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I think you could write this down or check the blog post or the show notes, and you could base a very good day on what we did because it all came together really nicely.
And it's very spread out throughout the district.
Yeah. There's only one thing that I would change, and we'll get to that later. Pompidou.
Yes.
But first,
slight mishap.
a great way to start the day is you go to the Ile Saint-Louis before everybody wakes up.
The morning walk.
The morning walk. And now,
so good.
I think a lot of people don't know this. You can go down to
on the banks.
Yeah, the banks, essentially. Yeah. You can go down the banks and walk around almost the whole thing. Like, I know everyone has seen it, but it goes all the way to the far side. And you should do that. Then you should do the inner, periphery of it.
I mean, it's so small, you can definitely do it all.
You spend 2 hours doing this, and then down all the main streets in the middle. Perfect way to start a morning, and then finish it with a little bit overpriced breakfast at Saint-Régy.
I mean, take the whole thing in to the experience, walk.
I think if you're a student or something, you'll balk at those prices.
Yeah,
it was only like €8 or something but you're for a croissant and a coffee and a small juice.
Yeah.
But it's lovely. I loved it.
It is lovely.
Very
It's such a classic Parisian institution.
And I didn't feel it was inaccessible like some of those other Paris institution cafes and stuff are, where you're like, ooh, should I go in here? Or
no, it's not intimidating.
No, they're really friendly.
Yeah, welcoming.
So that place is awesome. Pop across the bridge and see the sort of work on Notre Dame. You can't get very close. There's a lot of info on the sides in English and French explaining how the renovations are going, but it's mostly just look at it from a distance.
Yeah.
If you're going in the next couple of years, just glimpse, move on. There's more things to do. For example, cross over into the Marais, cross the bridge.
A short walk, and you get to Peloton Cafe.
You know how at the start we said that this district was dear to us? To our hearts.
Yeah.
The Peloton, we go back. You and I both go back.
It's a hub.
Do you remember you used to make their banana bread?
I did. That's a different story, but that's
seems
funny.
like a long time ago
Yeah.
now. And I wrote about it in my book. I used to go there all the time.
Still as good. New renovation, looking very smart.
Yes. And seeing the guys are friends of the show, I thought we should ask him a little bit about the district. I talked to Paul Barron, and I asked him about his cafe and the neighborhood. Here's what he said.
Fourth is the center of Paris. It's where everything happens, and this is why we chose to work in the Fourth. It is, the center of the city. I actually kind of feel like this is Paris. It's got access to the islands. It's got access to all the great cafes and restaurants, and a lot of cool people live here.
Is it too touristy?
No, well, you got to know where to go.
Okay.
But I would say in general, it's not too touristy. My kids go to school in the Fourth as well, so it really's got a kind of a familiar, local feel to it.
Family friendly.
Family friendly, yes.
I think a lot of people might think center of a city is a bit like crowded traffic, a lot of foot traffic too. Do you feel like that's the case around here, or is
not so much? I guess I feel that it. Because of how big it is, the Fourth, I feel like it doesn't get as crowded as maybe other parts.
Do you mean the Fourth is big, or
the Fourth is big?
Right. And you guys have had this cafe, the Peloton, for Le
Peloton for 7 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a change in the district?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because actually, the mayor is actually trying to make the Fourth a lot more user friendly, so less cars. Less scooters, more pedestrians and more bikes.
That's good news for a bike company.
That is good news for a bike company. Even the street that the Peloton is on, it's changed dramatically. Cyclists can go both ways, and it gives us direct access to the river. And I think in the coming years, the mayor of Paris is trying to make the Fourth even more pedestrianized,
right.
Which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So
the whole city, I feel, is going to change, but especially center.
Yeah, especially the center.
Yeah. Let's finish on the Peloton.
Yes.
I've been coming here, maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah, that would be right.
Who do you recommend comes and checks you out? Have you got a niche audience here, or is it
just people who love coffee? I guess we're probably one of the friendliest cafes in the city.
Yeah.
And because we run a tour company at the same time, we're constantly giving people recommendations on where to go and what to see, along with their coffee. So you come for a whole experience, not just for good coffee.
And not only that, if I can sing your praises, the place has changed.
Yep, did a complete renovation.
So a lot of people who haven't come since the lockdowns and stuff might not even recognize it.
No, they won't. Okay, well, the culture and the atmosphere inside is the same. It just looks a little bit different. We did a complete renovation, gutted it, and it looks even better than it did before.
Gone is the horseshoe bar.
Yes, gone is the horseshoe bar. It's just better, well designed, just to make it easier for people to come in and out, and also for people to work behind the bar.
Speaking of going in and out, I'm going to go grab a coffee.
Great.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks.
If you're wondering at home, that was a New Zealand accent. Paul, friend of the show. That cafe, I regularly get people tagging me on Instagram or whatever saying, went to the cafe. It's great.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of the earful history.
Yeah. They're friendly staff. They do bike tours.
Excellent coffee.
Yeah, excellent. What do you think about the banana bread now?
I mean, it lost a bit of it. Nah, I'm kidding. It's great. It's probably better.
A shout out to Lisa, who we bumped into when we were there.
Yes.
Lovely lady and
Lovely
listener
Lisa.
to the show. At this point, full disclosure, we went home, put the baby to bed, came back out again.
Yeah, it's hard doing all this with a baby. It's hard work, extra work, but so be it.
Not to mention the great daycare shortage of Paris at the moment.
I know.
It's in line with the great babysitter shortage.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
You know about that?
Hand in hand.
But what we did is we went back in at lunchtime and we went to an excellent spot, Miznon. This is in the sort of just on the edge of the Jewish quarter there, like sort of falafels, pita bread, cauliflower, lamb, that kind of food.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, around there are a lot of street food, but from all over the world. It's just really good. You got lots of kebab places, and then Miznon.
I would say
hot
everyone's
dogs and all sorts.
True.
Yeah,
everyone's making that the famous one, La du Falafel. You know, the green one with the Q always outside of it. Guys, you don't have to go there. It's not that good.
I mean, it's all right, but
Miznon is certainly better.
Yeah, I would
every
time choose Miznon.
I don't know why people wait for an hour for that one.
I don't get it. I don't get lines.
No. There's,
that's a mentality.
I thought about that. I passed Angelino on Rue de Rivoli the other day, and there was the biggest queue out the front. And I was like, guys, it's not.
I know.
It's not hour in a line worth it.
Yeah, it's so funny. Is it because of the picture? They want the picture of the famous hot chocolate.
I don't know.
It's the same with, is it Amorino on Rue Claire? there's
Yeah.
always a huge
And
line
there's
of
3
people
other ice
wanting
cream
that
shops,
ice cream. Yeah, and literally across the road there's another ice cream shop with excellent ice cream, and no one's there.
So go to Miznon in the Forth if you want that kind of food. It's just really good, and the secret's out because they've opened in at least 1 new location. I'm pretty sure 2 in other districts that we visited around the canal. If you're there at Miznon, there's a really good park to go and have your takeaway. And it's where there's a tower of the Philippe Auguste wall. The name of the park is on the tip of my tongue. It doesn't matter, though. It's off Rue de Rosier, which is so named Rosebush Street because the rose bushes used to grow along that wall.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not going to get into it because I know I get too nerdy. But there's a good hidden tower in there, and then there's a big park at the back where you can sit and have your takeaway lunch.
Yeah, it's
That's
lovely.
what everyone should do.
It's a really nice park, actually, with big
beautiful.
trees.
Huge fig tree. A story I often tell is when I interviewed David Downey, the renowned and prolific author. I said, I'll interview you outside, like in a quiet park. Maybe there's one near where you live. And he said the name of the park, and it's quite. See, I can't even remember it now. It's like Joseph Mignoret or whatever. It's a weird name.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I know the park, the one with the Philippe Auguste wall tower. And he said, great, I'll meet you under the fig tree. And it felt like
It's like code word in the spy novel or
and
something.
that's where we sat under this fig tree and did this really fun interview.
I love it. I meet you under the fig tree.
Yeah, so if you're new to this show, go and find that. We talked about the Marais and all his books. Speaking of nice parks, one of the most famous in the whole of Europe, perhaps, it was our next stop, Place des Vosges.
Place des Vosges.
Place
A
des Vosges.
very symmetrical park.
Perfectly symmetrical, steeped in history.
Completely surrounded by like all these symmetrical buildings.
It dates back like 400 years. It's sort of...
It's a little green oasis in the middle of it all.
And like they said, because
Marais.
it's perfectly symmetrical, like there's a water fountain in each corner, there's trees planted exactly the same, the buildings are all the same, there's a big statue in the middle.
It's kind of hard to know where you are.
That's
It's
what I
hard
was
to
gonna say.
orient yourself. It's not orient.
Orientate?
Yeah, whatever.
But how do people meet? Like if they're like, I'm by the fountain.
You're like, I'm also by the
Which
fountain.
fountain? But that's worth a stop. That's worth walking through. Do as the Parisians do, stake out a piece of grass for yourself. Sit down with a takeaway.
Falafel.
Yeah, maybe, if you can walk that far. One thing that I can recommend that you do for a good Paris experience in general is the Victor Hugo Museum. So he lived on one of the corners there. They did a big renovation of it. Free to get in. It's free to get in, but there's a ticket booth. You notice that?
Yeah, that was misleading.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what those guys do.
What was that
there.
about?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're like, haha, it's free. Have a good day.
Or maybe they wait to see if people slide money across, and then they just take the money and go,
Pocket
thank you.
it. Yeah.
No, I'm sure they don't. They were really friendly to us. And the museum is where he used to live. They did this big renovation job, and they took over a courtyard from a neighboring building. So now they've introduced this great big cafe.
Like a nice modern cafe at the ground floor. And then the museum bit is upstairs in his old apartment.
You were surprised by the sort of Asian-themed furniture.
Yeah, there was a whole room. We're not going to give away too much, but it was really cool.
The truth is, there's not that much to give away, though, either, is there? It's not. It's like 4 rooms.
It's 4 rooms.
One cool
good
thing,
rooms.
if you're not a fan of Victor Hugo, there's a good view of the Place des Vosges from like the living room.
And it feels cool because it's these like heavy curtains, and you feel like Victor Hugo is just behind you, peering over Place des Vosges with
that
you.
He used to always write in the nude.
Really?
Have you heard that before?
No.
Yeah. I heard that. You know what? I made one mistake when we were in there because I went right when it opened, as in before it opened, as on like a press trip or something. And they had this great collection of all his sketches. And I thought it was amazing. I really wanted to show you this.
Yeah.
And so we went in, we did the tour quite quickly because we had a lot to do. And then we got to chatting to the people at the front who have no tickets to sell. I was like, have we missed all the sketches? And they're like, no, that was just a temporary exhibition. So unfortunately, everyone at home, you've missed that too. They've gone to museums around the world, but they do sometimes have exhibitions on other floors. So keep your eyes peeled for that. After Victor Hugo Museum, you were keen for a macaron and a Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I needed a bit of a sugar hit.
Yeah, we were starting to lag a little bit.
Busy day, you know. Yeah,
it's a cool choice, that place.
Yeah.
Carette.
Well, I heard about it, but I think the original location is up by Trocadero. But this one is I guess, old-ish as well.
I think he said it was about 15 years old.
Oh, okay. Well, scrap that.
Not compared to Victor Hugo or the Old Passage, but it looks old. It's obviously they've taken over another restaurant.
Yeah, no, but it's lovely. I think they're famous for their hot chocolate as well.
Right.
I like Angelina.
And we were on a mega hot day, so we took
no hot chocolate.
Coca-Colas and cold macarons, which is a good tip.
Yeah, they were good, really friendly, just very nice spot to sit in the shade and enjoy a cold drink.
But I will say overpriced.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely.
Obviously.
But
it's like when
didn't pay for Victor Hugo.
No, so woohoo, we're winning. Turns out we didn't pay for Pompidou either. That's because we got there 50 minutes before it closed.
Yeah, so they wouldn't let new people in.
Yeah, and
unfortunately.
So, silver lining is, even though the museum wasn't open to us, we could ride the escalators. So if you don't know what Pompidou is, I'm sure everyone does, but it's this big modern art museum, very controversial because it's built in a very non-Paris fashion.
Yeah, it looks like an inside-out machine, sort of. Lots of pipes running everywhere.
Colours.
And very colourful.
And
does not blend in.
No, but there's a really wonderful view from the top. You can ride those escalators, which are on the edge of the building. They're covered, it's like a space ship.
Yeah, you can ride them all the way to the top, where there's a nice restaurant. We didn't eat there, but it was very nice.
And incredible views, just like incredible views over Paris. So worth doing for that. The museum is we've been there before, and it's great, modern art, wonderful. But I'm gonna say something a little bit negative, and it's not the fault of the woman who was working there. It's more a sort of a tip for everybody when it comes to traveling in Paris. When we went there, we were 50 minutes before it closed, and I said, hey, can we just run through really quick, even 15 minutes? We just want to get in there, have a quick look, take some pictures. And instead of saying, oh, I'm sorry, the rules are the rules, this woman gave me a huge lecture.
I know, we were like, she wouldn't be quiet.
She wouldn't drop it. She was like, we've been on our feet all day for 10 hours. We got families. We got families. The metro is hard. She was going, and I said, okay, I understand, madam. I understand. This is in French, right? And she was going, we have to go on the metro. And in Paris, the metro is... And I said, yes, madam, I understand. Don't worry about it. Please don't worry about it. We won't go in. But she didn't drop it.
She wanted to unload a bit.
And fair enough, she's probably had a long day, but it was the least welcoming experience.
Yeah.
And it's not her fault. She had a long day, whatever. But it's a really perfect sort of tip for Paris. Because I think a lot of people, when they come to the city, they go to the popular places, the Eiffel Tower,
the big places,
the Pompidou,
with thousands of visitors every day.
And maybe hundreds of staff. And those staff members are so sick of... And imagine the Louvre. How many people go, where's the Mona Lisa?
Yeah.
It happened to us in the Musée Rodin. Someone came up to me and said, where's the thinker?
Yeah.
And I thought they were... So she was obviously had a bad day. But the lesson here is, if you go to the smaller museums and the smaller places, the smaller restaurants, you'll have a way better experience with
chances
the staff.
are.
Yeah, with the staff members.
Yeah.
And so, like, if we compared our experience at Victor Hugo to Pompidou...
Oh, it's just worlds apart.
Oceans and deserts. So it's the same, like, think about that, especially restaurants and museums and stuff. Like, there's this whole thing of French people are rude, but if, when you come to Paris, you just go to the Champs-Élysées restaurants and the Centre Pompidou and stuff, you're gonna have some bad experiences like that.
Yeah, I mean, the big places are kind of like, mega malls.
Yes.
And the smaller are more like, private-owned boutiques.
That's what
sort
it's
of
like.
thing.
So, think about it.
That's just what you get.
Yeah, so I hate to be negative, but if we take it as a learning experience, it's not that the Parisians are rude, it's that they have a tough job there with tough customers like me trying to get in when it's closed. But also, do not go there 59 minutes and after.
No, have a lot of time unless you just want to see the view, which is excellent.
Next, I'd like to say we went to the James Bond themed restaurant. But we went for a drink first, and we picked a cool one. This is also from Forrest Collins.
Ah.
It's like her 8th shout out on the show.
Yes.
She recommended a rum bar called Maria Loca, and it was really cool.
Yeah, really nice. Quite unassuming. Like, didn't try to be something really special, but it was a good vibe.
Very laid back.
Very friendly.
A pet dog of one of the owners was sitting on one of the chairs.
Yeah.
They, you know how I know that they were, and this also goes with what we're saying about the difference between the shopping mall and the boutique shop. A similar thing happened here to what happened to me in Shangri-La. Do you remember at the Shangri-La when we went for the 16th?
How could I forget?
And to jog everyone's memory, I said, I'll have that on the menu, please. And the guy said, he goes, how do you have your dry martini? And I said, I've never had a dry martini before. He goes, I'm not serving you this then. And I said, but I really want it. He said, I'm not serving it to you. And I thought he was being very...
He was like, let me give you something you would want, you'd like.
Yeah.
And you ended up with like a gin and tonic or something.
Even though I didn't want it. A similar thing happened at Maria Loca. I felt like a martini now that I've had a few in my travels through the arrondissement.
Speaking about Bond.
And the guy... The guy says to me there, he goes, nah, I don't want to make you that. This is a rum bar. I'm not going to make you that. And I was like, all right, make me whatever you want.
Well, at least he was like fun and cool about it.
He was fun and cool
yeah,
about it. And it was a fun and cool place. So in the Marais, a cool part of the town, down towards the sort of bottom right.
Yeah. Around the corner from, really close by Merci, that cool, what do you call it? Like
concept shop.
Yeah, concept store.
We didn't go there.
No, I know.
Oops.
But have to mention it because I love it.
Good shop. But yeah, so Maria Loca, Forrest Collins hit the nail on the head. If you're into a rum bar with a laid-back atmosphere, not crazy expensive, just a cool vibe.
Yeah,
Beautiful
really nice.
Place too. Check it out.
Yeah, and they got a little terrace. That's cool. Big fan.
Then it was dinner. Now, here's the dinner story. We've been calling this place Bowfinger. So much so, Bowfinger, similar to Goldfinger, which is the music that we've been playing.
Far-fetched, but very fun.
But we're going because we had heard about this place being a cool, old brasserie. The kind of place with an awesome interior and maybe not exceptional food.
Yeah, but dinner is a show.
Yep.
Or like the place is a show.
So Lena calls up to reserve a table and she rings... And, well, I guess you can tell what happened.
Yeah, so I was like, bonsoir. And in French, I was like, oh, yeah, I would like to... is this Bowfinger?
Yeah.
And the person on the other line was like, oh, no, madame, c'est Bowfinger. Bowfinger. I was like, oh,
so
sorry.
we'd been thinking we were going to go to this, like, we were doing, like, James Bond jokes.
I know,
it was like
we're loving
Goldfinger.
it. Bowfinger.
Not that we thought it was a themed restaurant, but this has been a theme for us.
Yes.
And then when we found out it was called Bowfinger, it kind of lost the ring.
I know. Still good, though.
It was good.
Yeah, big. It's a really big place.
This is the kind of restaurant when you go there, you have to go for a walk. Like Tremblay.
Yeah.
You can't...
Peek around.
Yeah, you have to go for a peek. And they encourage it. They're like, please, go upstairs, check it out.
No, it's really nice.
It felt like I
can't believe we never... Like, I've never been on that street.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I've walked past, like, on neighboring streets so many times, but
it's really close to the Bastille roundabout, if anyone's wondering. I'd never even looked inside. I think I'd parked a scooter around there, something, or whatever, but I didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
And it was a treat. It was another of these restaurants where, look, the food, we're not food experts. I had just a tuna steak or whatever it's called.
But it's more than just a food.
Yeah, I was like, that was not even in the top.
Yeah, it's not very
50,
memorable food.
Yeah,
it's
not
fine.
Even top 100 probably.
Yeah,
but the
totally
restaurant
fine.
was in the top 10.
Yeah.
So that's what...
Memorable experience, not memorable food.
No, and friendly waiters, lots of happy people around, a lot of seafood going on.
Yeah, big mix of tourist and French people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a good place to set a murder if you wrote a crime book. I think. You know what? The toilets, like the men's toilets downstairs, they were. You know, they've got the dividers between them. Sometimes. How do you know all this?
Well, I've seen a toilet.
They had like 4 dividers, and they were like this. It was white porcelain with these intricate big fish on the top of each of them. I was like, cool, new touch on the toilet. I like it.
Good.
After Bowfinger, we went to a
Still
kind
sounds
of...
funny.
It's funny when you've been saying Bowfinger all week.
I know.
We went to a cocktail bar called 1905. There's a big restaurant downstairs. You go up a very small set of stairs to a really cool old school Art Deco. I guess it's set in 1905 with a tiny terrace where everyone's smoking. Not our scene. We went inside. It was empty, but it was beautiful.
That was great.
Good place for a cocktail.
Yeah,
definitely.
Can absolutely recommend. Good cocktails, nice people.
I got my dry martini.
You did finally.
Delish.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was our day. We had a little walk down towards the river at the end of it, and it was just everything seemed right with the world.
I mean, a sunset over the Seine is just ideal, isn't it? Can't go
beautiful.
wrong.
Beautiful. So there you go. That is the Marais, the Old Marais. It's time for some scores. Have you written your scores?
I have.
This score section, I don't think I've said it before, sponsored by our Patreon supporters.
Really?
Why not?
What, this section?
Yeah, why not?
Oh.
That's maybe what I'll do in the future. I'll have sections sponsored by the Patreon
I
supporters.
like it.
Yeah. That's what they do on TV and stuff,
Yeah.
right? I'm talking to everybody who is a member, an Earful Tower member, the Earful Tower on Patreon. So patreon.com/the Earful Tower. You get a bunch of bonuses, itineraries, event invites, extra videos, and so on and so on. Thank you to the members for this section this week. If you're a new listener, you'll have no idea what we're talking about, and we're not going to explain it. You should have listened to the other 16 episodes. Here we go. Lena, fourth arrondissement for strollability.
Strollability jackpot. Ding, ding, ding.
me
10
too.
points.
10, that was an obvious.
Yeah,
one of the
for
best
sure.
stroll.
I mean, it's a small
you can't
district
get
as
better.
well.
Yeah, can't get better. Affordability.
5, neither here nor there. Like you?
I put 7. A lot of saving graces.
A bit more here than there.
Well, a lot of things you can walk around. A lot of the sites are free. Even like the food and stuff we had was quite cheap, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Neither here nor there.
Yeah. Well, our scores are close. We don't need to discuss it. Shareability. How
10,
Yeah,
10,
super
10,
shareable.
10.
You can't take a bad photo,
No.
especially the Ile Saint-Louis.
Yeah.
The scores are high.
Very high.
Touristability.
10.
I gave it a 9.
No.
Yeah, you know
How?
why?
No.
Because I thought about it should
I
be a
might put
10.
an 11.
I thought about tourist sites, and I was like, if I was to ask a normal person, like not a Paris fanatic, to list 50 tourist sites, I don't think they'd say a single one that was in the fourth.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so good.
I agree. I was
Yeah.
just trying to keep my score down because they're all 10s.
He's clutching at straws.
Accessibility.
10.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
Did you give 4 10s?
Yep.
Whoa. Okay,
Yep,
what did that
I did.
total? What did that total?
A cool 45. How about you?
46. That makes 91.
Ooh.
That's our highest score in our first in the 90s. Congratulations to the fourth arrondissement.
Hotro.
That puts in top spot ahead of the fifth. So, wow. Ding, 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 ding. I wonder how it's going to go for the third, second, and first. Is it going to keep getting higher?
I don't know.
They'll
or is it
struggle
gonna
on affordability, that's for sure.
massive scores?
Massive scores.
Yeah, for a massively good arrondissement.
Yes, make sure you add it to your list. Stay there. Stay in the fourth.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
Book a walking tour.
Book one of my Earful walking tours. Get in touch.
Yeah.
They're really starting to take off. But if you're enjoying this show, sign up. Patreon.com/the Earful Tower. Not in a position to do that? Tell your friends about it. And lastly, something we haven't said all season, and I know we haven't said it all season because no one's done it. Leave a review.
Oh.
If you're enjoying the show, put on a review saying that you're enjoying it, and it'll give
It's
me...
free.
Yeah, free to do. Affordability on that one is ding, 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 ding. Guys, we'll be back next week, Monday morning. As
Yeah.
always, talk to you then and have a lovely week.
Bye.